So welcome back. Hopefully you've got the first part of the swing dialed in nicely and you've just got that small swing coming all from the hips, remember, without any shoulders. Now the next step is to start to increase the height and amplitude of the swing so that we're ultimately bringing it up to shoulder height so the arms parallel with the floor. So you can see there that all the power comes from my hips. You will have seen that as the kettlebell comes down, my hips come back and then there's like a snap forwards, okay? As you literally squeeze the bum, hamstrings, and really drive the hips forward. It's that drive of the hips with the forearms here against the inner thigh that creates that forward motion for the kettlebell. Remember, I'm not lifting it. All the power comes from here and it swings naturally up to about shoulder height. At that point there, again, some people, they'll try and pull it down and race it. Let it swing, let it pause, change direction and come back down. Same at the bottom position, it will slow down, it will stop, and now you apply that snap of the hips to drive the kettlebell forwards. The whole time, as I always go on about, stomach's got to be tight, posture's got to be strong, okay? Don't let the kettlebell pull you out of shape, okay? So shoulders are pulled down and back. I'll show you head on. You'll also see that at the end there, it's really important when you finish doing the number of swings you're aiming for, to just do a couple of gradual ones to let it slow down so that you're under control when you put it down. Now, what I'd like to do now is just a little bit of troubleshooting effectively. Okay, so you need to go away and practice that, okay, but I'm just going to give you a couple little pointers here for things that commonly go wrong. The first one is really common, is too much bend in the knee. People try and squat the kettlebell up like this, okay? If you remember back to the deadlift, I talked about hinge at the hips, okay? That's exactly what we want here. So as I go into the hinge, there's a slight bend in the knee, but I'm not squatting it, okay? So if you find yourself doing this, then you need to really think about moving the hips back, keeping the knees straight, okay? The other thing to think about is if you find the kettlebell is pulling you out of shape and you're all rounded and your posture is poor, the first thing to try is maybe a lighter kettlebell to build up the strength before you go to the heavier one. The second thing is to really think about pulling the shoulders down and back. So instead of being all rounded and pulled forwards, I bring the chest out and the shoulders down and back as I swing, okay? Now it can make it a little tricky to keep your arms loose, okay? But you need to try and keep that body position. And the final thing there that I want to talk about is arms have got to be loose, okay? And for some people, this is the hardest thing to do because they're not used to just letting them swing around, okay? So if you find that you're lifting the kettlebell up and then you're stiff on the way down and you're not letting it swing, then I like to do this kind of silly exercise with all my clients who struggle with this, and I literally get them to go like spaghetti arms, like floppy arms, okay? And you'll look ridiculous, especially if you do this in a public gym, okay? But basically what we're trying to do is get used to the arms being relaxed and floppy, because that's what we want. Obviously they're going to grip the kettlebell and pull in here, but really they should be able to swing freely with the kettlebell. Okay, so it's going to show you the swing one more time from the front and from the side, okay? And now it's up to you to go away, to practice it, to get the technique really dialed in tight, okay? And if you have any problems, go back to basics, build up the swing again, get a friend to video you or watch you or something like that. And that's the kettlebell swing.